Hello, welcome back to another episode of Taco and Text Adventure Tuesday ASR. And I'm your host, Jeremy. Welcome to this podcast. For the first time, we're designing this third episode of our series on Riverside, a online software, web software, browser that's available through Spotify for creators. There's a link in the description if you want to try Spotify for creators for yourself. I highly recommend it. I've been using it for quite some time for an older podcast that I did many years ago called Video Gamers Oasis Playful Podcast. This podcast is very focused on text adventure games. Many of us Generation Xers grew up with classic text-only video games that are available on old PC computers, where we would use our imagination instead of having advanced graphical design. So let's have a little fun, shall we? And just for those who are new to this podcast for the first time, on this podcast, at the beginning of each episode, I eat a taco. That's the name. Taco Tuesday, Taco and Text Adventure Tuesday. Taco Tuesday, by the way, has been a very sincere and old ritual. People eating tacos on Tuesday. I used to play text adventure games on Tuesday. Now I figured it would be a great idea to combine both aspects, tacos and text adventures, into one day, at least for this podcast. And as an added bonus, every episode of this podcast, which is every week on Tuesday, is done in ASMR, a relaxing, whispering, gentle, rasping voice of mine, up to the very high quality microphone that I'm using for podcasting and gaming streams. So let's see if we can get through this episode with the Riverside software for the first time. I am learning as I go along, so your patience in this regard. I'm still learning as I go along, so I appreciate your patience as I learn this new technology. If you're watching this video, by the way, available also on YouTube, in the YouTube podcast format, would you be so kind as to subscribe and click the notification bell of this YouTube channel, Video Gamers Oasis? That's my YouTube channel for the Video Gamers Oasis channel. Click the notification bell, send some likes, send some love. I do appreciate it. Super thanks if you can. I do appreciate it. Support Spotify creators, support Spotify and young and up-and-coming podcasters. There's a lot of creativity and a lot of ingenuity coming out in the Spotify podcast genre. So I highly recommend that you support the Spotify creators as well as the YouTube podcasters as well. So we're going to move very quickly into the game that we've been playing for quite some time. We've already got a good start of the game is called Colossal Cave Adventures. And if you watched my previous video, I'll see if I can, in the next video, I'll include it, or the YouTube version of this video, I'll see if I can include a insert of my last video, so some recaps. But basically what happened in my previous video is we started off at the brick building at the very beginning. We moved on to the very end to the Y cave. There's a wall with the inscription of Y2 on it. That's as far as I got in the game. We're moving forward in this episode. We're going to take it in bites. We're not going to do the whole game in one sitting, but let's get on with it. We're going to play the game in just a few seconds. But first, beginning of every episode, we're going to proceed with the taco eating. So, using this new Riverside software for the first time, let's see if we can get the taco presentation working. Pardon me for a moment. All right, we've got the King Hun scanner set up. Let's share the presentation. All right, there you have it. We have the King Hun scanner, that is the software that I'm using, and the hardware, which is a desk scanner that scans the whatever you have on your table, basically. So we're going to just prepare our taco here. Pardon me if I'm new to this kind of software. There you go. I'm just trying to get used to everything here. All right, so I'm gonna wrap the taco. As you can see, it's a old El Paso hard shell taco. There's two of them here. I'm only gonna eat one of them because this podcast is called Taco and Text Adventure Tuesday, not tacos plural. I can always eat the second taco later. There's a little bit of salsa here. I put a napkin here. I made this taco yesterday, put it in the fridge. So I'm eating it today, the day after. I'm going to have to make more fresh tacos because if you leave them in the fridge overnight, they tend to get a little bit soft. But here we have the nacho cheese flavored taco. We have this time, the meat is turkey, chopped up turkey, heated up with pardon me, a little bit of, this is Taco Bell sauce that is available in stores, grocery stores. And it's a really good sauce here. I put a little sauce on the turkey like this, like so. Very delicious. And then I add some shredded cheese, cheddar in this case, and spinach. I didn't have any tomatoes this time, but I put some salsa and chopped up onions, as well as some plain yogurt. Let's proceed. We'll try to eat the best of the two tacos. Do our best to eat this without making a mess. But before we eat it, I always make this of a habit of saying grace. Now, I'm not going to get overly religious, but always say grace before you eat your food in your own special way. Thank you, thank you, thank you for this food. Very good. Now I'm going to proceed with the taco. Even as it falls apart, it still tastes good. My only complaint is that the shell is too soft. I'm going to have to, next time, make a fresh taco right before I do a broadcast. But other than that, it tastes delicious. And here's the wrapping paper, plastic that came with it, with the sound effects. I'm going to have to eat this later because it's very good. I ate one taco. I'm going to eat the second one later. And there you have it. That was our taco section. Taco Tuesday and Text Adventure Tuesday. Taco and Text Adventure Tuesday segment. We're just eating the taco first, and then we'll proceed with the game. All right. Now, on with the game session. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop sharing. I'm still learning as I go along, so pardon the rough presentation. New software. Everything is new here. So we're going to start a new presentation, or screen. We're going to go to our game. Just a moment here. Pardon me just a moment. All right, let's share a screen of our game. Excellent, we have our game set up. All right, so what we're going to do, we're going to just see if we can start typing here. All right. Restore. Save files for Colossal Cave Adventure. We're in the first execution still, but we are at the... Where we last left off was September 16th, I believe. That was last week. So we were at Y2. That was where we saved our last game. Pardon me for a moment. Making sure our game is broadcast properly. So far, so good. You are standing at the end of a road before a small brick building. Around you is a forest. A small stream flows out of the building and down a gully. Now that's the original part of the game. That's the beginning of the game. We're past that part now. So let's look where we are now. You are in a large room with a passage to the south, a passage to the west, and a wall of broken rock to the east. There is a huge quote-unquote Y on a rock in the room center. All right, so we're there now. Now I got my, what do you call it? My walkthrough. Big shout out to Adventure Gamers website. Adventure Gamers, you can Google it up. Basically, it is a adventuregamers.com /walkthrough /full /colossal -cave is the website for walkthroughs. Now, we've made it to the Y2 section. We passed the Hall of the Mountain King. We already picked up the black rod. We've got the axe, the bird cage. We've already obtained the diamonds. We were told not to take the silver last episode. That there's a reason for that, because if we do take the silver later on in the game, we will be delayed. So let's move on where we are so we don't get delayed. We're in the Y2 room. Let's look at our inventory. Type in inventory. All right, you are currently holding the following set of keys. Brass lantern, wicker cage, dwarf's axe, large gold nugget, several diamonds, precious jewelry, and rare coins. Now it says in the manual that our inventory should include lit lantern, axe bottle with water, score 105 plus 40. So we didn't pick up the water yet, but that's not a problem. In this area, in the well house, we want to go to the well house building. Head through the north passage from HOMK. Do not interact with the silver. Continuously enter the Y2 room until learning PLUGH. Use PLGH to return to well house. In the well house building, drop, deposit gold, diamonds, jewelry, coins, drop keys, and collect. So we are missing an important aspect of the game. Let's see if we can find ourselves back where we need to go. we need to find ourselves. Let's see if PLUGH is where we need to go. Let's look. You are in a large room with a passage to the south, a passage to the west, and a wall of broken rock to the east. There is a large Y2 on the rock in the room center. A hollow voice says PLUGH. Inventory. You are currently holding a set of keys, brass lantern, wicker cage, dwarf's axe, large gold nugget, several diamonds, and precious jewelry, as well as rare coins. Let's see if we can find. I must have saved a previous game where I dropped all the unnecessary items. Let's see where we are here. Second execution. I think that may be it. Let's look. We're in the Y2 room again. Let's try that again. Look. You are in a large room with a passage to the south, a passage to the west, and a wall of broken rock to the east. There is a large Y2 on a rock in the room center. The hollow voice says Plu. That's inventory. You are currently holding the following: a brass lantern, a small bottle of water, and water in the bottle. Let's look at what the items we need. We need to have inventory, lit lantern, axe, bottle with water. Where's my axe? This is annoying. So let's see if we can go to the well house again. Let's look. Sorry, I'm not allowed to give you more detail. I'll repeat a long description of your location. You're inside a building, a well house for a large spring. Inventory. You're currently holding the following: a set of keys, a brass lantern, tasty food, small bottle, and water in the bottle. That's not what we wanted. Oh, axe used. Back to the white. Oh, maybe that's what I was doing. Back to the Y2, September 16. Let's look. Let's look again. You're in a large room with a passage to the south, a passage to the west, and a well of broken rock to the east. There is a large Y2 on a rock in the room center. Inventory. You're currently holding a brass lantern, tasty food, small bottle, and water in the bottle. I'm going to backtrack to when I used the axe. So let's go back to where we used the axe, and we'll probably retrieve everything that we need. Let's look. You are at a crossover of a high north-south passage and a low east-west one. There's a little axe here. Take axe. Okay, inventory. You are currently holding the following: a set of keys, a brass lantern, a wicker cage, dwarf's axe, large gold nugget, several diamonds, precious jewelry, and rare coins. I'm trying to remember what I did with that axe. Let's see if we can retrieve where we last left off. brick building. Brick. Look. Sorry, I'm not allowed to give you more detail. Just trying to remember where I last left off my adventure last time. Inside building after PLUGH. Let's look. Look again. You're inside a building, a well house for a large spring. There is a Persian rug spread on the floor. There are many coins here. There are bars of silver here. There's precious jewelry here. There is a large sparkling nugget of gold here. There is food here. Let's look at our inventory. You're currently holding the following: brass lantern, small bottle, and water in the bottle. My score is supposed to be a score of 105, plus 40 for depositing treasure. That's a score. That's definitely not it. So we need to have the 105, but we have 160 out of a possible 340, 350. So let's see if we can make do with what we have. In the well house building, deposit the gold, the diamonds, the jewelry, coins, drop keys, and collect. So we have the Persian rug there, so we have obtained our items. No, I don't wish to cancel my game. We have the brass lantern, small bottle, and water inside the bottle. Take axe. Take axe. I see no axe here. Take keys. I see no keys here. Inventory. Currently holding a brass lantern, small bottle, and water in the bottle. Let's look. There are coins, silver, precious jewelry, and large nugget of gold, as well as food. Drop the keys and collect. Let's go over to... Got the small bottle and water in the bottle. You want to type in PLU, go to the Y2 room. PLUGH. There is a threatening little dwarf in the room with you. One sharp, nasty knife is thrown at you. It misses. It is now pitch dark. If you proceed, it will most likely fall into a pit. On. Your lamp is now on. You're on Y2. There is a little axe here. Take axe, please. Thank you. Inventory. You're currently holding the following: a brass lantern, small bottle, and water in the bottle, and the dwarf's axe. Let's save our game. We'll save our game as Y2 room with axe. And we will save this as Saturday, the 20th of September. Look, you are in a large room with a passage to the south, a passage to the west, and a wall of broken rock to the east. There is a large white 2 on the rock in the room's center. So we've made it through, and we even have, let's look at our inventory. We are carrying a brass lantern, a small bottle, a water in the bottle, and a dwarf's axe. We have the lit lantern, the axe, the bottle with water. And let's look at our score. If you were to quit now, you would score 116 out of a possible 350. Wish to quit now? No. And save our game as Y2 room. We'll put a number 1 on the top, so we'll be at the listed on the top there. Okay. Now that we have our axe, we have in the Y2 room, we have our axe, our lit lantern, our bottle with water. Let's move on. We're going to move on to the first beanstalk watering and orient loop. So we need the water to water the beanstalk twice in order to access the giant region. I use this to break up my trips to deposit treasure in the well house. I'm reading from a walkthrough here from Adventure Gamers, link in the description. I use this to break up my trips to deposit treasure in the well house, since we can only carry so much at one time. This also works quite well because the well house building is a source of water, so we don't need to make any extra detours. For this first watering tip, I head through Orient to grab those treasures and prepare for collecting the pyramid in the future. In this route, I don't collect the bars of silver until the very end. The reason for this is that there is a timer that is initiated once you see the 15th treasure. If the pirate steals your treasure and you recover it and steal his chest, you could end up seeing the 15th treasure in a very convenient spot and may not even have time to return to Well House. Turn the page. So, are we going to move on with this adventure or what? From the Y2 room, head south and down the ladder to the quilt region. Don't collect the silver. So let's, from the Y2 room, head south. Let's look. Yeah, the Y2 room, head south. You're in the north-south passage and down the ladder. Let's look. You're in a north-south passage at a hole in the floor. The hole goes down to the east-west passage. We want to go down. You are in a dirty, broken passage. To the east is a crawl. To the west is a large passage. Above you is a hole to another passage. So once we go down the ladder, we want to go to bed quilt region. To the east is a crawl, to the west is a large passage. Above you is a hole to another passage. Oh, there's a threatening little dwarf in the room with you. I hope he doesn't see me still. Let's go down again. You're in a dirty passage. I don't think we're in the right location. We should have went south twice. From the Y2 room. Let's go back to the Y2 room again. So let's look again. You're in a large room with a passage to the south, a passage to the west, and a wall of broken rock to the east. There's a large Y2 on a rock in the room's center. So we want to go type in south. You're in the north-south passage. Let's go south again. You're in the Hall of the Mountain King. There are some keys on the ground here. There's a small wicker cage discarded nearby. A cheerful little bird is singing here, singing. So we want to from the Y2, head south and down the ladder to bed quilt. Let's go south again. There's a threatening little dwarf in the room with you. You're in the south side chamber. Throw axe. You are in the south side chamber. There is a little axe here. Take axe. Throw axe. You are in the south side chamber. There is a little axe here. Take axe. Inventory. We have the dwarf's axe, the brass lantern, small bottle, and water in a bottle. Let's look again. You're in the south side chamber. We need to go to the bed quilt region. Throw axe. You're in the south side chamber. Take axe. And let's go south again. There's no way to go in that direction. You're in the south side chamber. Let's look. Let's go down. There's no way to go in that direction. Let's go back to the Y2 room. See if we can get this correctly set up properly. Let's look. We have the dwarf's axe already. So from the Y2 room, head south and then down the ladder to about bed quilt region. Head south once. There's a threatening little dwarf in the room with you. And then you want to go down. You are in a dirty, broken passage. To the east is a crawl. To the west is a large passage. Above you is a hole to another passage. West and down ladder to complex junction. So don't collect the silver. West and down. Let's go west. You are in a large room full of dusty rocks. There is a big hole in the floor. There are cracks everywhere and a patch is leading east. West. And we need a 2-pit room. They're in a large room full of dusty rocks. There's a big hole in the floor. There are cracks everywhere, and a passage leading east. I'm going to have to do a lot of retrieve. I need to find the 2-pit room with the plant. There's no other way to go in that direction. There's a threatening little dwarf in the room with you. One sharp, nasty knife is thrown at you. Oh dear, you seem to have gotten yourself killed. I might be able to help you out, but I've never really done this before. Do you want me to try to reincarnate you? Yes, I want to get through this. You're inside the building. We got the food, the precious jewelry, the nugget of gold, the silver, the many coins, and the Persian rug inside the building. Inventory. Not carrying anything. That's not good. Let's see if we can retrieve our file back to Y2. Let's look. Inventory. We got the dwarf's axe, the water in the bottle, the small bottle, and the brass lantern. So we're in the Y2 room. Head south. There's a threatening little dwarf in the room with you. Throw axe at dwarf. Please stick to 1 and 2 word commands. Throw axe. You kill the little dwarf. The body vanishes in a cloud of greasy black smoke. You're in a north-south passage and there is a little axe here. Take axe. All right, let's save our game as north-south passage. North, south, passage. And that is September. 20th, 2025. Okay. Let's look again. You're in the low north-south passage at a hole in the floor. The hole goes down to an east-west passage. So we want to go west, see if that works. Or head west to the 2-pit room. You're in the north-south passage. There's no way to go in that direction. You're at a low north-south passage at a hole in the floor. The hole goes down to the east-west passage. Down. You're in a dirty, broken passage. To the east is a crawl. To the west is a large passage. Above you is a hole to another passage. This is where we need to go west. Head west to the 2-pit room. West, you're in a large room full of dusty rocks. There is a big hole in the floor. There are cracks everywhere and a passage leading east. So it says, the instructions say to head west to the 2-pit room. Click on plant in west pit using the bottle of water. And east will go to the Swiss cheese room. So let's go west. There is no way to go in that direction. There is a threatening little dwarf in the room with you. One sharp, nasty knife is thrown at you. It misses. You're in a dusty rock room. Throw axe. You're in a dusty room. Take axe. Throw axe. There's nothing to attack. Inventory. Dwarf's axe. Look. You're in a large room full of dusty rocks. There is a big hole in the floor. There are cracks everywhere and a passage leading east. Go down. You are at a complex junction. A low hands and knees passage from the north joins a higher crawl from the east to make a walking passage going west. There is also a large room above. The air is damp here. Let's go west. The passage is going west. You're in the bed quilt. Yes! Finally made it to the bed quilt. A long east-west passage with holes everywhere. To explore at random, select north, south, up, or down. Let's save our game as bed quilt. Bed quilt. September 20th. So once we're at bed quilt, there are holes everywhere. We want to go west to bed quilt. West to 2-pit regions. West again. Let's go west. You are in a room whose walls resemble Swiss cheese. Obvious passages go east, go west, east, northeast, northwest. Part of the room is occupied by a bedrock block. So we'll save this room as Swiss cheese. Swiss cheese room. So we save the Swiss cheese room. But we want to go the opposite direction. We want to find the 2-pit room with a bottle of water when the plant is. So let's go the opposite direction. Go east. You're in the soft room. The walls are covered with heavy curtains. Floor with thick pile carpet. Moss covers the ceiling. A small velvet pillow lies on the floor. That's not where I want to go to. I don't want to go to the soft room. Let's go west again. You're in the Swiss cheese room. Let's go west again. You're at the east end of the 2-pit room. The floor is littered with thin rock slabs, which make it easier to descend the pits. There is a path here bypassing the pits to connect passages from east and west. There are holes all over, but the only big one is on the wall directly over the west pit where you can't get to it. The 2-pit room. Let's save this as the 2-pit room. 2-pit room. All right. We've saved the 2-pit room. Once we make it to the 2-pit room, click on the plant in the west pit using the bottle of water. So let's go west. Let's look again. You're in the east end of the 2-pit room. So you want to go to the west part of the pit. West. You're at the west end of the 2-pit room. There's a large hole in the wall above the pit at this end of the room. So we need to find the plant. Click on plant in west pit. There is a large hole in the wall above the pit in this end of the room. So let's go west again. You're in a large, low circular chamber whose floor is an immense slab. Oh, a threatening little dwarf again. Slab room. There once were large passages to the east and west, and they are now filled with boulders. Small passages go north and south. Okay, throw axe. I want to get rid of that dwarf. He's going to attack me if I don't. Throw axe. You attack a little dwarf, but he dodges out of the way of you. There is a threatening little dwarf in the room with you. One sharp, nasty knife is thrown at you. It gets you. Oh dear, you seem to have gotten yourself killed. I might be able to help you out, but I've never really done this before. Do you want me to try to reincarnate you? Not this time. Let's instead retrieve our file where we... No. Just a moment here. I should have said yes. I'm going to retrieve my file in just a moment here. Restore. And we want to go back to our file called the 2-pit room. We want to go to the 2-pit room. Look. Share our screen presentation again because we messed it up. We'll retrieve where we left off. Let's get back to the game here. Just a moment here. That's definitely not what I want to do. Let's try that again. Just a moment here. All right. This I'll have to do for now. Let's restore the game. Let's go to save file. Retrieve our game as... what's it called again? Two-pit room. All right, let's look. You are at the east end of the two-pit room. The floor is littered with thin rock slabs, which makes it easy to descend the pits. There is a path here bypassing the pits to connect passages from east and west. There are holes all over, but the only big one is on the wall directly over the west pit. You can't get to it. Let's try going west. There's a threatening little dwarf in the room with you. One sharp, nasty knife is thrown at you and misses. You're at the west of the two-pit room. There's a large hole in the wall above the pit at this end of the room. Throw axe. You throw at the attack the little dwarf, but he dodges out of the way. There is a threatening little dwarf in the room with you. One sharp, nasty knife is thrown at you. It misses. You're at the west end of the two-pit room. There's a little axe here. Take axe. Okay, and throw axe. I misspelled throw. Throw axe. You killed the little dwarf. You're at the west end of the two-pit room. There's a little axe here. Take axe, please. And save the game as two-pit room. This time I'll put a number 1 in front of it so I can find it easier. Let's go west. You're at the large, low circular chamber whose floor is an immense slab fallen from the ceiling, the slab room. There once were large passages to the east and west, but now they are filled with boulders. Small passages go north and south, and the south one quickly bends to east around the boulders. I don't want to go to the slab room. I want to go to the two-pit room where the plant is. Click on plant on the west pit using the bottle of water. Let's go east. You're in the slab pit. There's no way to go in that direction. You're in a low circular room. Low passages go north and south. And quickly bends east around the boulders. Go east. How about west? There's no way to go in direction. How about north? You're in bed quilt. Okay, back in bed quilt. That's where we need to be at first. Ladder to bed quilt region. Don't collect silver. Let's look at bed quilt. You're at bed quilt, a long east-west passage with holes everywhere. To explore at random, select north, south, up, or down. We want to go west and down ladder to complex junction, west to bed quilt, and west to two-pit region. Let's go west. Here the Swiss cheese room. Let's go west again. You're at the east end of the two-pit room. Let's look. You are at the east end of the two-pit room. The floor is littered with thin rock slabs, which makes it easy to descend the pits. There is a path here bypassing the pits to connect passages from east and west. There are holes all over, but the only big one is on the wall directly over the west pit where you can't get to it. So we're at the pit, the two-pit room. Click. So we want to go west to bed quilt, west to two-pit regions, Swiss cheese room. Want to go west to two-pit room and then click on plant. Let's look at plant. Please stick 1 and 2 word commands. Plant. I see no plant here. Let's go west. You're at the west end of a two-pit room. Let's look. You're at the west end of a two-pit room. There's a large hole in the wall above the pit at this end of the room. Look. Look at hole. Hole. It's too far up for you to reach. You're at the west end of the two-pit room. So we still need to go west to find that plant. West again. You're in the slab room. That's not where I want to go. We'll go east, north, bed quilt, west, Swiss cheese room. Let's go east. There's a small velvet pillow lies on the floor. East again. There's no way to go in that direction. Look. You're in the soft room. The walls are covered with heavy curtains. The floor with a thick pile carpet. Moss covers the ceiling. A small velvet pillow lies on the floor. I don't like where I am right now. Let's go south, west. Okay, look. You're in a room whose walls resemble Swiss cheese. Obvious passages go west, east, northeast, and northwest. Part of the room is occupied by a large bedrock block. Let's try to go to northwest. You're in the Swiss cheese room. You're crawled around some little holes and wound up back in the main passage. Look. Let's go west again. You're at the east end of the two-pit room. Look. You're in the east end of the two-pit room. The floor is littered with thin rock slabs, which makes it easier to descend the pits. There is a path here, bypassing the pits to connect passages from east and west. There are holes all over, but the only big one is on the wall directly over the west pit where you can't get to it. That's where I need to find the plant. I have to climb that hole. Head west in the two-pit room. Click on plant on the west pit. Let's go east. You're in a Swiss cheese room. West. Two-pit room. West again. Look. You're at the west end of the two-pit room. There is a large hole in the wall above the pit in this end of the room. What if I go down? You're at the bottom of the western pit in the two-pit room. There is a large hole in the wall about 20 feet above you. There is a tiny little plant in the pit murmuring, Water! Water! Yes! Save our game, please. Save the game as 2-pit room plant. So once we find the plant, we want to click on the plant in the west pit using the bottle of water. Inventory. We have the bottle of water. We have the bottle of water. So what we have to do with the plant, click on plant in the west pit using the bottle of water. Pour water on plant. Please stick to a 1 and 2 word command. Pour water. You're in the west pit. There is a 12-foot tall beanstalk stretching out of the pit, bellowing, water, water. So, the plant is starting to grow. Save as plant. Make it 12 foot. 12 foot. Excellent. So how many feet does the plant have to be? Click on the plant in the west pit using the bottle of water. There's a lot to take in here. So let's look at our inventory. We have a small bottle. Pour water. I see no water here. So save the game as as 2-pit room plant, 12 feet. Excuse me. It says click on the plant, west plant using the bottle of water, east to Swiss cheese room, and northwest east exit to orient. This has a random success chance, so keep trying until it works. So click on the plant. We done that with the bottle of water, and then go east to Swiss cheese room. East, you're in the west pit. There is a 12-foot beanstalk stretching out of the pit, bellowing, water, water. And go up. Up. You're at the west end of the 2-pit room. The top of a 12-foot tall beanstalk is poking out of the west pit, which is good. What we want to do. And I want to go east for Swiss cheese room. East. You're at the east end of a 2-pit room. Top of the 12-foot beanstalk is poking out of the west pit. East again. You're in the Swiss cheese room. From the Swiss cheese room, we want to go northwest to the orient room. Northwest. You crawled around in some little holes and wound up back in the main passage. It says here, random success, keep trying until it works. Northwest again. You're in the Swiss cheese room. Northwest again. You crawled around the little holes and wound up back in the main passage. You're in a room whose walls resemble Swiss cheese. Obvious passages go west, east, northeast, and west, northwest. Part of the room is occupied by a large black bedrock block. You want to go northeast, exit to orient. North, not northeast, northwest. You're in a Swiss cheese room. Has a random success chance, so keep trying until it works. How about northeast? You're in bed quilt. How about west? Swiss cheese room. How about east? You're in the soft room. Now I want to go to the East Orient room. South, north, south, south, east, west. Okay, let's try look. Let's go west. Here in the two-pit room, let's go west again, and west again. Here in a large circular room with a slab room. Let's try west again, west again, west again, and look. Two-pit room. East to the Swiss cheese room. And let's go east again. We're in the Swiss cheese room. And we want to go northwest. He'll crawl around some little holes and wound up back in the little main passage. Let's try northwest again. No, nothing happens when we do that. So let's go try to go northeast to bed quilt. I'm going to take a little break here. Let's wrap up this game because we've made some progress, but I'm going to have to save what we left off so far. So we are going to open the game to where we left off, which is we are going to retrieve our file at the plant, 12 feet plant, and let's look. You are at the bottom of Western Pit in the two-pit room. There is a large hole in the wall about 25 feet above you. There is a 12-foot tall beanstalk stretching out of the pit, bellowing water, water. We're going to save our game where we are, and we'll continue on next week because my voice is getting croaky, and the entertainment value is not there for you if my health is below par. If my voice is croaking, that's not good for anybody. So we're going to take a little break, and I'll look at some YouTube walkthroughs on what to do after we reach to the 12-foot tall beanstalk, and we'll continue on where we left off next week. So we'll close our game, and we will go back to where we were, stop sharing, and there you have it, folks. That was our walkthrough of Colossal Cave Adventure. We made some progress. We made it to the plant finally, and we poured some water on the plant. At least it's 12 feet now. It's still thirsty, but at least we're going to know that we're on the right track. So if you liked today's walkthrough ASMR gameplay of Colossal Cave Adventure, please send some likes and loves. Follow my Spotify for Creators account. Taco and Text Adventure Tuesday is the podcast. This video will also be uploaded on my YouTube channel, Video Gamers Oasis on YouTube. Make sure to subscribe, click the notification bell. I do appreciate it. And have a great rest of the week. Take care of each other. And I'm excited to continue the adventure next week. Bye for now.